All right, a few days ago, a customer did reach out to me that he wanted to return, a PC that was bought off of eBay. Normally, when a customer wants to return my PC, it's absolutely not a problem for me. I just go ahead and accept the return request, and the buyer automatically gets a return label, and it's exactly what happened. And after a few days, I get to receive my item. And one thing I normally do is to come on here and try to open the item on camera, not because I want to make an evidence for eBay. As a matter of fact, ever since I have been selling on eBay, I've never had to make recourse, to eBay because of an item that was sent back to me, for one reason or the other. So normally, I just tend to do it for myself, just to make me know if there are still decent, buyers out there, on the internet. Because sometimes we get this kind of complaint that buyers, whenever they buy your item and want to send it back, it's always a problem. See, if you go onto my channel, you would normally see videos of me opening items that have been bought and sent back to me. I have actually had, very terrible experiences, and I have also had very decent experiences. And this is just one reason why I tend to open these stuffs, on camera, just to show if there are still buyers that are very responsible out there. But apparently, from what I can see, I can pretty much tell that this was a particular buyer that is proving right now to be very responsible, because as soon as I received this packet, everything is still looking, exactly the way it was sent out. First thing, this is the original box in which this item was sent to the buyer. I have had situations where somebody wants to return your item, and for one reason or the other, the person is sending back the item in a box that is different from what he or she actually did receive. This buyer actually is returning this PC because he did say that, yes, he bought a tower PC, but for some reason, he realized that he will be needing a laptop instead of a tower PC. And fair enough, yes, it can happen. Sometimes you didn't really think through it before clicking on the buy it now button. As soon as you buy it, you do not want to cancel the transaction immediately, because you still feel like perhaps when the item comes to you, you might still be able to use it. But this wasn't the case. Buyer said to me, I'm so sorry I bought this item. I was a little bit in a hurry. I actually do need a laptop, and this PC right here is not going to be meeting my need. But then, looking at the condition in which this item is right now, I have not brought it out of the box. But if everything I see right here is anything to go by, I already want to give, the buyer a very, very good pass mark. The buyer had ordered this PC with a wireless LAN card, and if I take a look at this wireless LAN card, everything is pretty much still looking exactly the way it was sent out. These are the antennas of the wireless LAN card, nothing broken, and this is the second antenna right there. And if you take a look at this, these are the user manuals, and the buyer actually still did include, the installation CD to the wireless LAN card. This is good enough, because sometimes people return your items and one of the accessories might be lost. The accessories in this case could be the wireless LAN card, the power cable, and every other thing that could be in the box. But so far, so good. Everything looks pretty much fine. So I'm just going to go ahead and grab out the PC and then try to inspect it. If, taking a look at it physically, this has to first of all go away. All right, taking a look at this PC, I pretty much do not see anything that wants to make me, begin to be worried. The PC is still looking very, very in good condition. If you take a look at the inside, the wireless LAN adapter is right there. The RAM sticks are right there, and the NVMe SSD is also right there. So there's just no reason for me to kind of be angry. If every transaction goes like this, ideally, it shouldn't normally be a problem, because truth be said, this is part of the package of buying stuff online. When you buy and sell online, you are pretty much going to quickly realize that people tend to buy a lot of stuff. And when people buy things, there's going to be 1,001 reasons that is on why the item is going to be sent back to you. The item could be looking at a very different condition than what was advertised. The buyer could suddenly change his or her mind, because yes, sometimes we think we need something, and for one reason or the other, we just realize that I don't really think this is something I need. I'm not going to be able to use this item. But then, and whenever it happens like this, you shouldn't normally be angry, about it. Even if you had a brick and mortar shop, returns is not something that is peculiar to just buying and selling online. Even if you have a brick and mortar shop, people will still buy your stuff. They go home, if you sell clothing, they're going to try it and they're going to come back to you and say, look, this cloth, even though I just bought it, but apparently I do not like it anymore. It could be shoes, it could be electronics just like this. Returns are part of this game. But the thing is, if your item gets returned to you in an excellent condition, exactly like this, there is absolutely, no reason to want to complain. In this transaction right now, if I take a look at the shipping cost for sending the item first to the buyer, and then the return label that the buyer gets in sending the item back to me, and then the packaging material, like you can see right there, I might still be able to use this box, but sometimes I really do not think this is something I want to do because there's already a lot of sellotapes on the box, and I have actually cut the top of the box. It might not be looking very fresh. So yes, this is what we kind of deal with sometimes. Like I was saying, if I take a look at this transaction, my entire losses on this transaction could be there about 20 euros or 25 euros depending. But if the item has been delivered to you in a very good condition, it's not going to be totally losses because you can still go ahead and list this item and actually get to sell it again, which is exactly what I'm actually going to be doing. But first things first, I have to actually go ahead and issue a refund to the buyer, because if I do not do it right here and then, there is every possibility that I might forget. And it has happened to me not once, not twice, but many times, which is I receive an item, everything looks good, and for one reason or the other, I forget to go ahead onto eBay and issue a refund to the buyer. This is something that eBay frowns at, and if you are in the habit of doing it, understand that sooner or later, eBay is going to give you like a knock, because the idea is eBay wants to keep its promises to its buyers. eBay doesn't want a situation where people come, they shop on the platform, they do not like what they bought, and they want to send it back, and it's becoming a little hassle. eBay frowns at that. Understand that this is a responsible platform, and if you are in the habit of forgetting to issue refund to buyers, especially when you have actually said so in your offer, understand that this is not a good thing. Definitely, if you keep doing it, sooner or later, your seller rating is going to fall below average. And in this case, you are going to be having, difficulties selling on the platform. So far, so good. I'm kind of impressed with this return. I would definitely say that if buyers are to behave like this, then you will not have a situation where sellers are actually very angry because they sell expensive items, and the item, for one reason or the other, just get destroyed when it's being sent back. I want to give a very big shout out to this buyer. This buyer has proven that yes, he is a responsible buyer, and even in 2025, you still can find responsible buyers shopping online and doing exactly what they have to do, even if the transaction doesn't go as planned. Until I see you again in the next one, peace.